impossible for us to change when we are conscious, when your mind is active. So let's say if I tell you that you definitely had a past lives, probably not one with this person, right? And you can see that. But when you are in that hypnotic state, you not only look at that, because when you're in a different state, so let's say right now the brain wave is beta state, so we're conscious, and you're using the mind to listen to me. So the next state, more relaxed state, is alpha. That is like light trance, so it can be meditative state. So meditative state is when the mind is not that active, right? You still can probably think if you want to, but right, you feel more relaxed, right? And the next one, the deeper relaxation state, is hypnotic state. So that is theta state. So this state, right, in a way is a magical state. When things, right, that you normally, when you're conscious, you cannot realize, you cannot understand, you cannot develop. But in that state, you will be able to transform yourself. So what happens is when the mind is really not active, because the mind is taking all the beliefs from society, from your parents, from your friends, from your co-workers. So we take those beliefs and we make those beliefs ours, because it's simple, it's safe, it's just right in our society, because we want to be the same like others, because most people want to be want to blend in. So we take a lot of beliefs and use them. However, in a hypnotic state, you don't have that. You're almost like a child, right? No longer use your previous experience or beliefs just from other people, because you just don't think. When you don't think, you cannot take any beliefs and say, oh, that's right, I'm gonna do this way or that way. So you don't do that. You just look at the whatever you can see, because a hypnosis is about to visualize. Or some people don't visualize, they just feel everything. You can feel like, oh, you're with this person in somewhere, right? Some city or a village, right? You're doing something together. But this time doesn't have to be romantic relationship, believe it or not, right? You can be a man, right? The other person can be a woman. You can be a relationship as a brother and sister, or mother and son, right? Whatever that is. And then you were doing something because this is the relationship you have with the other person. And then what do you see? What do you see is something, you as the soul, the other person as the soul, you were trying to learn something from each other. But when you're in that lifetime, you wouldn't know if you're, let's say, mother and the son. I have a client, the previous relationship, she was the mother and he was the son. And what happened is the son, I think, killed himself because of something happened. So, okay, so only when this person died, right? So your soul, you leave the body, the soul leaves the body. And then I can ask the soul, what do you think you learned from this life? And see, so what is that, right? We're learning something from this relationship. So he said, he was learning, he is actually, this life was a woman, and she said, I learned that I need to forgive myself. See, that's something very different, right? You think it's about this relationship, how you should love each other, but it's something else. The mother also learned that she needs to let it go, and the son learned that he has to forgive himself. Okay, so it's this type of thing usually. It's not, unfortunately, it's not that romantic, but because if they both learned, and this is kind of interesting. So the mother is, this woman, and she is going to meet someone she did not meet yet, but but she's going to meet someone in this lifetime, and this person is her previous life son, and they will be together. And what they are going to learn in this lifetime is, right, something, I don't remember all the details, but something they haven't learned before from, right, the previous lifetime. So this, right, the mother, who is this woman, this life, she has to remember, she needs to let it go. Let what go, whatever that is. Let's say when you're in a relationship, right, good things can happen, or sometimes it's not that good. But whatever that is, we cannot just attach to the other person and say, you need to do this for me. Things like that. So, but your situation is a little bit different, right? So what is the learning, right? I don't know yet, but sounds like, right? Of course, you need to experience, right, what is really happened in the past. But also, I want to tell you, it doesn't have to be in the past. It can be in the future or in the parallel life. So what happens? Okay. Let's say you go to, right, you think it's a past life, but it's in the future. So that future is, right, from our point of view, it's not here yet. But then you can have a life together in the future with the other person. Yeah, and then you come back to this time. So what happens? This is, I don't know if I can make you understand immediately. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, because for the soul, let's say the two souls, right? You know each other, right? Obviously you know each other. So let's say you're from the same soul family. You understand that term, soul family?
Yeah, I never heard of that.
So you can have a soul family. That's your real family. Yeah, in the spirit world, right? You can have hundreds people that, right, they belong to the same soul family, same group. Yeah, so you both from the same group, and then you do a lot of things together. Not always with one soul, but right, with this particular soul, you went to him or he, you came to, right, you talk to each other and say, look, right, I need to learn certain things, and I think that will benefit you, right? We both learn certain things from each other by having a life together. What do you think? Right? So it's really like that, believe it or not, right? Because I can take you to that moment to see what made you make that agreement, right? So you have a conversation with each other, right? Not real in, how to say, conversation in words, it's telepathically, right? So you say, okay, so I think I can learn certain things from this relationship, right? If we do a life together, and right, what do you think? And he might say, yes, I really need to learn certain things from a romantic relationship. So let's do it. So you might choose a life in the future or in the past compared with this current life, before this current life. So why you can come to this life from the future? Because the soul can learn certain things in a different, how to say, different culture, different timeline. So let's say, right, a life in the 18th century will make you learn more about what you like to learn. Then you go to the past, you go to that timeline. But or something, right, you can learn the most from this relationship, from a romantic relationship. You can go to a future life because that environment will be able to provide that kind of experience. That makes sense? So it doesn't have to be in the past, and sometimes it's a parallel life. That means it's the relationship is still there. You're still doing that with that person, and right, yeah, because everything happens at the same time. So right from our three-dimensional perspective, it's very hard for us to comprehend, but that's the way it is in the universe. So when you understand what you are learning in the past, and you will understand what you are supposed to do in this lifetime, is something you did not do well, or you missed it, you missed the lesson. That.
Exactly, that's what I'm looking for.
That. So when you see that, you will have much better understanding, and that right awareness will make you change. Well, you will change automatically. That makes sense?
Yes.
Because you were there. You have a time travel. You just right had a time travel, and you went to the past or you went to the future, and you look at it. You were on the street, right? You were in that village, and you look at it. It's like, oh, wow, I did not do well in this life because I missed it. I couldn't let it go. Let's say, right? This person died, and I was sad the rest of my life. That was a waste, right? It's kind of like a waste. You don't just right become sad, feel the sadness for years and years. But sometimes we do that because life is hard. Sometimes we couldn't get out, right? So it can be something like that, right? And so only when you're there, and then you will truly understand what right you need to do better in a way, right? Do better in this lifetime, because otherwise you have to do it again.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste this life or any future life. That's why I felt like this might be useful.
Right.
I just want to understand what I can do, I guess.
Right. Physically, you can move on, but mentally, it's hard.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people don't like, we don't even know what is hard, but it's hard, right?
Yeah.
So awareness, right? And this energy, and I do something else, right, to help people to be able to move on, to transform, is to help you to release that energy. So there is certain energy, right, is represent this type of blockage. So it is inside of your body somewhere. And when you have the awareness, then I can, right? Only after you understand. Otherwise, it does not work well. So after you look at it, what happened in the past, right? And then I will ask you to use your spiritual vision, right? This only happens when you're in that deep relaxation state. So you can look at it where that blockage is at in your physical body. It can be in the chest, it can be in the stomach, it can be in your throat, or in your head. There's something, right? You can see the color, the size of the energy, and the texture of the energy. And you will be able to identify and tell me what this energy represents. So it represents, right, this a blockage. Something is not moving. Something makes you feel heavy. Yeah. And then, right, I will be able to take you to a healing place. This is not a healing place on earth, it's somewhere in the universe. And you don't need to know where, but you will be there. I can take you to that place. It's a healing place. And you can be in a forest, let's say in the jungle, or in the mountains, or maybe it's somewhere in a space. And certain energy, right? This is a little bit hard to understand. Certain energy, because I will give the command to invite your, it can be your spirit guides. It can be someone that from other lifetime that you, right, you kind of know each other, and they will volunteer and come in to help you to transform that energy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and this is something I think, right, is necessary, and I discovered this way to help people to further, right, release that energy, because, right, you have the awareness, and then, right, physically or spiritually, we also need to remove that, right, the stagnant energy that does not serve you anymore. So you will feel lighter. You will feel you are ready to do anything. Right? That's